So there's a rising tide of confusion and misinformation in Republican politics nowadays. All right. So we have literally police and military on the streets patrolling urban cities. I think we all know that. We've seen it in the news. The National Guard is picking up trash in Washington, D.C., while they're literally pretending to deter crime. We've got people lowering their flags to half mast. We have sports teams this weekend selecting whether or not they want to observe a moment of silence. And the White House basically embraced a racist provocateur to honor him because someone murdered slash assassinated him. Moral outrage by the right wing against the left, who had nothing to do with the murder of Charlie Clerk, and right wing white supremacists laying blame at the doorstep of historically black colleges and universities and blaming the left wing establishment for a right wing racist dying is just the absolute hypocrisy. Period. This moral outrage and selective use of Christian values for the abhorrence of violence is ridiculous. Is ridiculous. The individual who has alleged to have committed this shooting is currently in custody. He's of Caucasian race. He comes from a family with Republican political affiliations. And he also did not complete his college education. I do believe he's a college dropout. With that being said, none of the story coming from the right wing is logical or is even easy to comprehend. Why the White House has chosen to embrace this particular murder when just recently Michelle Hortman and her family was murdered by someone from their establishment. So the fact that you have a white Caucasian person center murdering somebody from the right, but rather than choosing to direct their anger and angst at the gun lobby, they choose to go all the way left and attack black people, which were nowhere to be found in Utah. And keep in mind, the strategic site of Charlie Kirk attending that campus in Utah was strategic because if you look at the population in Utah, it is predominantly white. So, looking at his rhetoric and the way he chose to live his life is a choice that he made. And the fact that his family is now fatherless and he has left a wife behind does not exclude the fact that Michelle Hortman and her family had violence visit him, and then the host of black people in the black community who have been left fatherless and motherless at the hands of white police officers and people from the right wing. So it's very, very, very difficult to understand, once again, why white grievance and white pain is somehow placed on a platform so much higher than any pain that could be felt from a black person. So if someone can actually explain that, that would be probably perhaps helpful. But I know that can't be because historically, the fact that white supremacy is rooted in the subordination of black people's cognitive ability, intelligence, and worst of all, emotional health, there absolutely isn't any answer that would suffice. So, in closing, um, please don't get distracted by the misinformation going on in Republican politics, and the disillusionment that they're spreading, the misinformation. Read the article on Substack coming out.